Hey class, Mrs. Matheson here. It is notes 5.2, so unit 5, notes 2 on similar polygons. We're going to use those proportions we practiced those last few days to help us identify similar polygons, and then we're going to use those similar polygons to help us find missing parts. Similar polygons is like congruent polygons, but not quite the same. Two polygons are similar if and only if their corresponding angles are congruent and their corresponding sides are proportional. So that's the one difference is now instead of looking for congruent sides, we're looking for proportional sides. So if we look here at our two figures to the right, we can see that angle A is congruent to angle W. Angle B is congruent to angle X. Angle C is congruent to angle Y, and angle D is congruent to angle Z. So all of our angles are congruent, so now let's see that our sides are proportional. And I'm just going to go and set my proportion up with my left figure to my right figure. So I'm going to start here with AB. It's 15, and I'm setting up my proportion, and that goes with our side WX, which is 5. And we're going to see, is that equal to, we're going to put our 12 over our 4. Then we're going to do 21 with our 7. And then last, we have 18 over our 6. So what do these proportions all reduce to? They all reduce to 3 over 1. So they are proportional. And that fraction we have there actually is considered our scale factor. So what we can say is our left figure is 3 times as big as our right figure. And the last thing we can say is A, B, C, D is similar. So that there is similar. Oh, one too many L's or I's, sorry. Similar to W, X, Y, Z. So our sides are proportional, our angles are congruent, our two figures are similar. So let's look at problem 1. It says if triangle AGH is similar to JKL, so we already know that they're similar, list all pairs of congruent angles and write a proportion that relates the corresponding sides. Just like when we talked about congruent figures, proportional ones, again, we match our letters up. So F goes with J, G goes with K, and then lastly, H goes with L. So we can say angle F is congruent to angle J, angle G is congruent to angle K, and angle H is congruent to angle L. So we can state all our angles are congruent. Now we're going to talk about proportional sides. So F to H, and the really important part here is if I'm going from F to H, I need to continue to go from J to L. So the sides need to be in the same order. Okay, H to G and L to K, and then G to F and K to J. So they're setting up our congruent angles and our proportion that relates our corresponding sides. All right, again, we see that these two triangles are congruent based on this, or not congruent, similar based on the similarity statement, which is listed there. Now state the scale factor. Well, we know that A goes with X, B goes with Y, and C goes with Z. So I see that AB is going to match with XY. So I'm going to say 6, and then XY is my 3. And I can actually reduce my scale factor to 2 over 1. So triangle ABC is 2 times larger than triangle XYZ. Okay, so let's use that idea of scale factor here. If you were given a picture that was 4 by 6, so we have our picture, it's 4 by 6, and you wanted to resize it so it would fit in at 8 by 10, so a little bigger, would your picture remain in proportion? Well, if these two are similar, meaning that their angles are all congruent, which we know their angles will all be right angles. We need to know that the sides are proportional. If the sides are proportional, then we can say, yep, no problem, these pictures will remain in proportion. So we're going to match our 4 with our 8 and our 6 with our 10. So we want to know, is this proportional? Well, we can reduce 4 over 8 to 1/2, or we can even think about it as a decimal. And 6 over 10 gives us 0.6. Those are not equal. So no, it won't be proportional. All right, so let's get into this right here. We're going to determine if these triangles are similar. And if they are, we're going to write the similarity statement and the scale factor. Okay, so I see here that N and R go together and S and Q together. And we know if 2 out of the 3 angles are congruent, the third one will also be congruent. So P and T together. So our angles are congruent. We need to see if our sides are proportional. I'm just going to go from my left figure to my right figure. So RS is 12.5 and NQ, which goes with RS, is 12.5 and RS is 10. We want to know, is that equal to QP is 11.5 and that goes with ST, which is 9.2. And then P to N is 15, which goes with our 12. I find this easiest for a lot of kids if they make these into decimals. So 12.5 divided by 1 or divided by 10 is 1.25. 11.5 divided by 9.2 is 1.25. And 15 divided by 12 is 1.25. These three are all the same, so we know that our sides are proportional. So we have our angles congruent and our sides proportional. So we can say triangle NQP is similar to triangle RST. Then we have to do scale factor, which I'm going to abbreviate SF. Scale factor is actually this right here. But we want to give scale factor as a fraction, not as a decimal. So you have 2 ways to do this. Change 1.25 into a fraction, if you remember, or look for a fraction you can easily reduce. 15 over 12, 4 goes into both, or 3 goes into both of those. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. So similarity statement, scale factor. 2 things they were looking for. All right, let's go to the back side of our notes now. Notice it says that these two are similar. Find the value of x and y. Make sure you add that onto your paper that says and y. Okay, I'm just going to match up my letters. So A goes with V, C goes with W, D goes with Y, and F goes with C. Okay, my angles, if they're similar, my angles are congruent and my sides are proportional. Here's the biggest thing that kids have some trouble with is they automatically want to set the sides equal to each other. Nope, not congruent, they are proportional. So we're actually going to set up a proportion. Okay, so let's start with finding x. I have x, which is FD. So we're going to match that one with our FD from the other side, which is our 10 here. So x and 10 go together. Now to fill in the other proportion, we don't want to throw y in there yet. We want to find 2 sides that we know both the numbers from. So we have a 12 and a 9. Do one of those match up? Here we go. This 9 and this 6 are actually going to go together because they're both for CD. So my 9 goes with my x because they came from the same shape. And my 6 is going to go with my 10 because they came from the same shape. Here we go. Now we have a simple proportion we can solve by cross multiplying. 6 times x, 9 times 10, 6x equals 90. Go ahead and divide by 6. We get x equals 15. All right, so now let's go on to our y's. We're going to use that same scale factor of 9 over 6 to help us out. Okay, so my 3y minus 1 is going to go with my 6 because they're from the same shape. And that matches up with F and A, FA 12. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. Here, the 9 gets times by the 3y and the minus 1. 6 times 12 gives us 72. Distribute. 27y minus 9 equals 72. Go ahead and solve that for y. I'll wait for you. 3. Good. Okay, so we saw setting up scale factors. We've seen finding proportional parts. We found missing values. Now we're going to see perimeters with some polygons. Remember, perimeter is the distance around the figure or the sum of the side lengths. If you can say that the two polygons are similar, congruent angles, proportional sides, then you know that their perimeters are proportional. So if we have a scale factor of AB matches with JK, so let's say that's the scale factor, we know that that's proportional to the perimeters. A, B, C, D, and our perimeter of J, K, L, M. All right, let's take and use that for this next problem. So it states a similarity statement here, so we know the sides are this is similar. Find the scale factor of ABCDE to PQRST. So that's telling us ABCDE needs to be on the top and PQRST needs to be on the bottom. So this is our scale factor. And the perimeter of each polygon. Let's start with scale factor. So I see some congruent markings. So this is 8 and that's 8. This is 4. We have a 3. Oh, we don't know the top part of those polygons there. But we do have some sides that are going to be in the same spot. So 3 and 4. So remember, A, B, C, D, E comes on the top, and then the other one goes on the bottom. There's our scale factor. We're going to use that scale factor for our perimeters. So we have the perimeter of the large figure. 4 plus 8 plus 8 plus 4 plus 6. Add those all up, and we get 30. So that goes with our 4 because 4 came from there. But we don't know the perimeter for the other one, and we can set that up as x. So we're going to cross multiply. 4x equals 90. Go ahead and solve that. We get good, 22.5. So this is our perimeter and our scale factor, two things they asked us for. So looking at our last problem here, again, it states that these are similar. Find the scale factor and the perimeter. Okay, let's go ahead and fill in what we know. 4, 7, 10.5. Well, shoot, both of these are missing parts. So let's just start with our scale factor and see if that helps us. Let's go scale factor. We do have some that match up here. 4 to 7. Again, I'm picking my 4 first because that goes with my first polygon. Okay, so we don't have the perimeter of either of them, so we can't automatically go to finding the perimeter of the other one. But we can find some of those missing sides. So I'm going to use my scale factor, 4 over 7, and let's find this missing side here. So we don't know that, let's call it x. All right, that matches with my 10.5. So we can now find what x is, and then that'll at least give us the perimeter for that shape. So you're going to cross multiply and divide. So what did x end up equaling? 6. Okay, so now I can erase this here because I know that this is 6, and if that one's 6, my other one is 6. All right, great. So now I have perimeter. Ooh, I see 2 ways to do this. Let's first do this. A, B, C, D, E has a perimeter. Let's add those all up. 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6, 26. Okay. So, hey, I see that this side and this side are 6 and they match with this. So these are both 10.5, so I know that this one's 10.5 also because they're proportional. So perimeter of R, V, oops, R, S, T, U, V is going to be equal to 10.5 plus 10.5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 10.5, 45.5. Okay, so let's make sure we answered the problem here. It asks for the scale factor, done, and the perimeter of each figure. Good. All right, make sure that you pop into Schoology, take that quiz, and then go ahead and you guys are able to work on your assignment. See you guys later.